Bill Monroe was an amazing man, and he had a very curious way of teaching the people who came to work for him. Because of the poor pay and other problems in the band, his turnover of musicians was fairly frequent, thus giving him the opportunity to be the mentor to literally hundreds of wonderful musicians who then spread his music across the country in terms of bluegrass. I was fortunate enough as a young man to get to hang out with Bill Monroe and be mentored by him in a way. And I've got a little story that will give you insight as to the way he mentored. I went to him, his record of Dusty Miller had just come out. And I went to him, a young man, I was maybe 14, but a fairly bold young man. And I walked up to Bill, and I had my mandolin, and he says, you know, people, think that he was a curmudgeon and kind of hard to get to know, but he was, he was very, very eloquent with me. He said, "Can you play that thing?" And so I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Will you play me a tune?" And so I say, "Okay." And so I started playing Dusty Miller just exactly the way he had played it on his record. Well, I finished. Nothing. No response. He was just kind of looking off into the distance. He turned back around to me and he says, "Let me see that mandolin." So I hand him my mandolin and he says, "This is the Dusty Miller." And I was absolutely exasperated. My confidence level fell down to my toes. And I just figured that I must have listened wrong or heard wrong or something because it was so different. It was so lyrical and it bounced around the melody. And I was, So I listened for a while. He didn't say anything. He just handed me back the mandolin. So all that night, I sat at the campground, learning that new way to play Dusty Miller with that rolling melody, lyrical melody. Completely rewrote what I'd spent months trying to learn, wearing out that old vinyl recording. Now the next day, when Bill hit the stage, I was standing right there in the wings because I wanted to see what was going on. And about halfway through his show, he said, well, one thing I have to be clear on, people ask me today, says, well, you were with Monroe a lot. I know you spent a lot of time with him. Did he ever know you well enough to call you by name? And I said, of course he did. He's, "Hey, boy." So I was, "Hey, boy." He said, Monroe said, "There's a young man here today. He's going to come up here and he's going to play mandolin with me. Hey, boy, come on up here." So I'm looking around to see who he's talking to, right? So somebody finally pushes me onto the stage, and I walk up there, and I get ready, and he says, "And we're going to play the Dusty Miller. You start it, boy." So I walk up to the microphone, and I start playing. Just like he had shown me. He comes in right behind me and goes, But you know what? That day, as we continued to play, and I stayed playing it the way I was playing it, and he played it that way, and the two versions blended together in a really miraculous way. And without ever actually saying the word counterpoint, he showed me how two instruments could play together and dance around each other and really be bigger than the sum of the parts. So let me try to play just a little bit of Dusty Miller, and I'll see if I can weave those two ways into this thing.